In a peaceful valley surrounded by mountains and whispering streams, there lived a young man named Aaron. He was intelligent, ambitious, and full of questions about life. From childhood, people admired his curiosity. He read every book he could find about success, spirituality, and the meaning of life. But as Aaron grew older, something strange happened. The more he learned, the more confused he became. He knew many answers but felt no peace inside. His heart was heavy with doubts. One evening, he looked at his reflection in the river and said, "I've learned everything, yet I understand nothing. My mind is full, but my heart is empty." He decided to travel far away, to seek a true teacher, someone who could show him what knowledge really meant. After many days of walking through forests and villages, Aaron heard about an old monk named Master Rio, who lived high up in the mountains. People said the monk had the power to calm storms just by closing his eyes, and that his words could make even kings sit in silence. Determined to meet him, Aaron began the long climb. The path was steep and slippery. Cold winds blew dust in his eyes, but he didn't stop. He whispered, "I will not return without finding wisdom." When he finally reached the top, he found a simple wooden hut. Smoke rose gently from its chimney. Outside, the monk sat quietly, feeding birds from his palm. Aaron bowed deeply and said, "Master Rio, I've traveled far to learn from you. I've studied philosophy, science, and religion, but peace escapes me. Please teach me the secret of wisdom." The monk smiled and gestured for him to sit. "Let us have tea first," he said kindly. He placed a small cup in front of Aaron, then began to pour hot tea. The cup filled, then overflowed. Tea spilled over the table and onto the floor. Still, the monk kept pouring, his hand steady and calm. Aaron jumped up. "Stop, master! The cup is full. No more will go in." The old monk stopped pouring and looked into Aaron's eyes. His voice was soft but carried deep weight. "Like this cup, your mind is already full," he said. "Full of opinions, pride, fears, and knowledge. You come asking for truth, but you've brought your own. How can I fill you with wisdom when you've brought your own cup overflowing?" Silence fell. Only the sound of wind and dripping tea remained. Aaron felt as if the words had pierced his soul. He realized that for years he had been collecting knowledge, not understanding it. He had been listening to others only to reply, not to learn. In that small hut, he saw his own reflection, not in a mirror, but in the overflowing cup. For the next several weeks, Aaron stayed with the monk. He swept the courtyard, carried water, cooked simple meals, and sat for hours in silence beside the master. At first, his mind screamed with thoughts, plans, memories, arguments. But slowly, the noise faded. He began to notice small things: the sound of rain on bamboo leaves, the scent of morning air, the warmth of sunlight on his face. He realized that wisdom doesn't always speak. Sometimes it listens. One day, the monk said, "When your mind becomes still, it becomes like a mirror. It reflects truth as it is and not as you wish it to be." Aaron finally understood. He didn't need to know everything. He just needed to be empty enough to learn. When Aaron returned to his village, people asked, "What did the great monk teach you?" He smiled and said, "He taught me nothing." And that's where everything began. He no longer argued, competed, or boasted. He listened more, judged less, and saw beauty even in silence. Aaron finally lived with peace. Not because he had filled his mind with answers, but because he had emptied it of noise. Moral of the story: true wisdom doesn't come from having a full mind, but from having an open one. Empty your mind of pride, fear, and old beliefs, and life itself will start to teach you.